Hi, and welcome to VODIUM, your very own virtual podium. I'm Camille, one of the co-founders, and in this e-learning video, you will quickly learn how to best use our app within the business setting. Shortly, I will break down 5 different use cases. The first will touch on how VODIUM levels up your video communication presence, especially within the C-suite. 2 will show how to use the app for instructional or pre-recorded videos. 3 will show you how to share your screen without sharing VODIUM. 4 is how to use our file management as a collaboration tool. And 5 will emphasize why VODIUM is a great tool for internal meetings. Feel free to skip ahead to your desired use case. For use case 1, let's talk about how VODIUM levels up your communication game. A majority of our business users are at the C-suite level. C-suite executives use our app for internal town halls, interviews, and pre-recorded videos. They like how it saves them time and helps them appear more polished on camera. We conducted an A/B test of VODIUM, and 92% of testers agreed that the user appeared more prepared and confident when using VODIUM compared to not using the desktop teleprompter. And with sharing my screen, I hope you can see how using VODIUM would help you appear more comfortable talking on video and help you learn what key communication skills are still important even over video. 1, eye contact, body language, and engagement. Let's head into use case number 2, using VODIUM for instructional or pre-recorded videos. Now, I'm always recording videos for customers. This allows for asynchronous flexibility and emphasizes microlearning, which is very popular in the post-pandemic workspace. For instance, this is an instructional video in which I wrote the script in VODIUM and formatted it so I would essentially act as my very own video producer. This means I'm very detailed on how I break down each section and how I use our rich text formatting feature to help me hit my key points, such as highlighting certain words and using bullet points. Now, I personally like writing out my entire script, but I know that other users like to type out a few notes that help them expand in real time. To level up your production, I recommend using VODIUM with platforms such as StreamYard or Loom. I'm currently using StreamYard for this video. These are both recording platforms that can quickly elevate the video experience. The awesome thing about using VODIUM for these types of videos is that you will appear more confident and own being the subject matter expert, especially if this was not something you were doing before the virtual world. This will give you a step up without having any formal video communication training. Now let's talk about use case 3, sharing your screen without sharing VODIUM. This is also applicable for use case number 2, since a lot of instructional videos also involve sharing material. One important detail to keep in mind is our app is a desktop application. This is critical to give you the ability to share your browser, application, or presentation without having to reveal VODIUM. Most of today's communication platforms like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet allow users to share their screen, and they will first prompt you with different options. The important thing to remember is if you share your entire desktop and you have VODIUM up, you will show the teleprompter. But if you follow the next steps, you won't run into this issue. So let's first go to share screen. I am currently sharing a specific window, which is my PowerPoint presentation. So I went to share screen. They gave me options. I went to window, and then I hit the PowerPoint presentation. And currently you cannot see the VODIUM that I am referencing for this entire script. But let me quickly stop sharing and let me showcase my entire desktop one so you can see behind the scenes. So back to sharing your screen. You can choose to share a specific browser window or tab. You can also choose to share an open application like Adobe and showcase a PDF document, or in my case, a PowerPoint. If you specifically choose any of these and not share your entire desktop, then you will be able to come off confident by reading off VODIUM and sharing your desired material without giving away to your audience that you're using a teleprompter. Now, let's say you have more than one computer monitor, then you can share your desktop. Just make sure not to share the desktop that VODIUM is on. So in this case, I am sharing my desktop 1, but if I look over here, I can easily drag different material onto desktop 2, so it won't show on desktop 1. Let's talk use case 4. An awesome feature of VODIUM is our file management system. If I go to file right here, you can see that I can create a new VODIUM file, I can open past VODIUM files, or simply close out. This can be extremely helpful when collaborating on a presentation with a team member or sending your boss talking points for an important meeting. I use our file management system to organize different files that store all of my talking points and notes from internal team meetings, sales meetings, development meetings, you name it. It's helpful when I open up a file and it provides me all the notes I took on a prior meeting. We also use our file system for presentations and really important sales meetings. There's 2 ways I would suggest effectively doing this with more than one person. You can compile your talking points and presentation flow in a shared document like Google or Word, and then copy the approved and final talk track into VODIUM. Or how we personally do it at VODIUM is one person will compile a VODIUM file and we will collaborate and make final changes over a prep meeting. Then once all the desired text is formatted, the person updating the VO file will then save it and share it via email or messenger app. The other team members can then download and open the VO file on their computer and make final adjustments for their own communication purposes, like adding personalized notes on how they should come across on video. If I open up a few of my files, you can see I have VODIUM files for meetings, Studio VODIUM, in which I record micro-learning, VODIUM Creative, in which we do consulting work. I even have therapy. I like to feel engaged and take notes during my therapy sessions. And we have project management meetings with my internal team, which I like to open up and reference all the notes that I took on the prior meeting. So I highly recommend our file management system. Now for our final use case. Don't shy away from using VODIUM for your internal meetings and even your external ones. I personally use VODIUM every day for all sorts of meetings. I even have a VODIUM file for my therapy sessions. Why? Because most meetings are now taking over video, and to feel engaged, I like to make my doctor feel acknowledged by looking at them and taking notes while I'm listening to them. VODIUM is a great tool to write out notes you want to emphasize during a meeting, and it's even a great tool for taking notes during the meeting. Think about a team meeting you have, and instead of having your agenda written on a Word document, a notes app, or on a piece of paper, you can type out your agenda on VODIUM. I have a running team meeting VODIUM file where I prepare a meeting agenda, and then during the meeting, I take notes within the agenda. It looks something like this. I use my rich text formatting, team meeting, I add the date, I add bullets and highlight it or turn the font into yellow so I know that those are the agenda points I want to deliver. And then I have a notes section for as everyone discusses their high and low, I can take notes that I feel are necessary to keep the team motivated. For my other point, I want to discuss project accomplishment, and then I write down notes on next steps. So this is a very familiar format that I use for my own purposes when delivering and taking notes during an internal or external meeting. Now, before I end this video, I'm going off script and I want to just show you a little bit of a 101 of how to control your VODIUM. So let me hit return to the top so you can now see the entire script I just recorded in one instance. So a few things to keep in mind. VODIUM. VODIUM is a desktop application. This is specific because we need VODIUM to overlay on top of any open application window, you name it. When you open up VODIUM, we have a set dimension that we feel confident that it won't give off the audience the feel that you are reading off of a script, right? So VODIUM will appear with its settings panel open. This is the settings panel. You can make it disappear with the gear widget. You will enter in your activation info by clicking on this button. You can also click on help and it will reach you to support materials. As I mentioned before, we have rich text formatting options. Click on a specific word, highlight it, and you can adjust it accordingly. If I'm going to highlight it with the purple, it's just like that. Important things to have always turned on with VODIUM is the keep window on top. This allows VODIUM to always remain on top, even if you click on different applications. You can also lock the window in place if for some reason you don't want VODIUM moving at all. Our font sizes go from 12 to 72. For smaller font sizes, it's usually used to type out notes or drive in an agenda. For speeches or pre-recorded videos where you want to use auto scroll, you can adjust the font size bigger. And then the coolest part that I love about VODIUM is transparency. So you can see who or what is behind the screen. So let's talk about how you can control VODIUM. I personally love to use VODIUM manually. I am using my fingers and I am on that mouse pad and I am just following along my pace. Now, let's say you want to be in hands-free mode. That means you want to play VODIUM automatically. We have a play button. You can pause anytime by clicking your spacebar or clicking on the play pause button. So to give some tips on this, when trying to figure out the right pace, it's a combination of font size and speed size. Let's just go to the highest font size and let me pick a medium dial for speed around 53. This is going a little bit too slow for me. So I'm going to adjust the scroll speed even more. I want it to go faster. Let's go to 76. All right, I'm liking this. Here we go. Let's start it off with, I'm Camille, one of the co-founders, and in this e-learning video, you will quickly learn how to best use our app. So I feel like it's going a little too slow for me. A few things to think about is you could also adjust the font size. This means if it's smaller, then more words will lapse. So that means you could speak quickly or quicker that way as well. So let's hit play. Hi, and welcome to VODIUM, your very own virtual podium. I'm Camille, one of the co-founders, and in this e-learning video, you will quickly learn how to best use our app within the business setting. Let me pause. So a few things to consider when choosing auto versus manual scrolling. So with auto scrolling, this is because you want to use hand gestures and you're having a meeting that's pretty much uninterrupted. The reason why I prefer to use manual mode is a lot of days we have a lot of windows and tabs open. I'm currently recording my screen on a platform called StreamYard. So imagine all the power that is being utilized on my computer. The reason why I like manual scroll is because if you're sharing too many things and exhausting too much power on your computer, that may have an effect on the scroll speed. I kind of feel a little bit of a lag right now when sharing too many things, and I can feel that. So I would rather manually scroll so I can just feel like I'm in control of my pace. Don't forget to add spaces or add notes to yourself to pause. This will also allow you to breathe and appear more relaxed. So I hope you enjoy VODIUM. I'm super pumped that we are supporting businesses, and the VODIUM is now yours.